picks. John?
Top Republicans also weighing in the president's primetime address. Senator John McCain, for the most part, is supportive. He attended a White House briefing on the strategy yesterday, and he joins us now live. Senator McCain is also the ranking Republican on the Armed Services Committee, which is holding a hearing on Afghanistan later on this morning. Senator, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, John.
So you are going to be crucial, Senator, in attracting Republican support for the president's plan, and I'm wondering, after the briefing yesterday and what you heard in the speech last night, what are you thinking about it?
Well, I think the president made the right decision to implement a properly resourced counterinsurgency strategy with 30,000 troops plus additional commitments from our allies, which I hope will come about. And I think it has every chance of success, and I support it strongly.
So what about this idea of a timeline, then, that you're a little bit concerned about? Is it really that much different than what President Bush was talking about with his surge strategy in Iraq? He didn't actually detail a date to draw down troops, but that surge was always seen as temporary, along the lines of the 18 months that President Obama was talking about last evening.
Well, unfortunately, it's very different. It's contradictory to say that you're going to have your withdrawal dictated by the situation on the ground and at the same time say that there's going to be a date certain for withdrawal. If you say there's a date certain for withdrawal, your friends and enemies who will be in the region make accommodations accordingly. Now, I understand that this would be the only, quote, beginning, and there's other nuances, but you cannot say that you're going to have a date certain for leaving and at the same time say that your leaving will be dictated by the situation on the ground. They're not. There's no way you can do both.
Right. He was talking, though, about beginning to draw down troops as opposed to a full withdrawal. So does that still give you the same level of concern?
I don't think our friends or enemies would believe that if we begin a withdrawal in a very unpopular war, that would be reversed. The point is that it's a good, strong strategy. It's a good policy. I think it will succeed. I have serious concerns about the civil side as far as the economy and the embassy and the divisions there and others, but militarily I'm confident of success.
Now, with the president saying that we are going to begin to draw down troops in July of 2011, does that send a signal to the Karzai government, a necessary signal to the Karzai government that, hey, you have a certain amount of time to get your act together here?
Well, it may. It also may send a signal to the Karzai government that you'd accommodate to the situation after we leave. And so I just don't think it was necessary to have that part of the speech, and I think it could have repercussions in the region where they pay very close attention to what we say and what we do.
Senator, apart from your concerns about the timeline, I read an article in U.S. News and World Report that Ken Walsh, fine correspondent, wrote, which eliminated this thought yesterday. He said, quote, McCain friends say his instinct is to support the commander-in-chief, but he has serious doubts that President Obama is truly committed to the Afghanistan war and that Obama will do what it takes to achieve success. Do you have doubt, Senator, that the president is truly committed to the war and will do what it takes to succeed?
I am. He gave an excellent speech, and I think the policy, although it's a very extended period of deliberation, which is now behind us, is a good one, and I'm confident the president will do exactly as he says.
Do you agree with some of your Republican colleagues that extended period of deliberation, as you called it, was detrimental to the potential for success in Afghanistan?
Oh, it could not be helpful. We saw American public opinion go down, and we saw opinion overseas go down. The decision was not only the length of it, but the leaks from the embassy in Kabul and the back and forth, all made public, I don't think was helpful in maintaining and gaining support for this strategy. But I continue to support it, and I think it will work, and I have great confidence in General McChrystal, and I'm confident the president will support him.
What about the cost of this, Senator? The president last night estimated that the new surge strategy will cost about $30 billion a year. Tom Friedman, who's going to be joining us in our next hour, whom you know well, New York Times columnist, worried about the cost of the surge in an article he wrote this morning. He said, quote, if we become weak and enfeebled by economic decline and debt, as we slowly are, America may not be able to play its historic stabilizing role in the world. He's very concerned that we're taking on too much debt. Do you share those concerns?
I share the concerns of a stimulus package of $780 billion and bailing out General Motors and Chrysler and all of the profligate spending that's been going on. Look, all we have to do is freeze spending on this year's appropriations at last year's appropriations level. That'll give you plenty of money to get through this year. And we might start out also by eliminating all the pork barrel earmark corrupting process that goes on here of unnecessary waste of taxpayers' dollars.
And Senator, one final question. I don't know if you heard Jim Acosta's piece, but we did some dial testing last night. We found that Republicans were actually more supportive than Democrats who are watching the president's speech last night. I'm wondering, what do you say to Democratic lawmakers who say the surge strategy is the wrong approach? What we should actually start doing is drawing down U.S. forces now because they are an aggravating factor in Afghanistan.
Well, I think we have to keep in mind that this was the place that the attacks of 9/11 were orchestrated and trained. We cannot allow that area to return as a base for that. The Taliban also return should appeal to our sense of humanity as far as their treatment of women is concerned. But overall, it is in our national security interest not to have Afghanistan return to a base for operations against America and our allies.
Senator John McCain, good to catch up with you this morning, sir. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
20 minutes now to the top.